mindset equals power. What's up? It's Carl and Chris back with In the Cut podcast. Y'all know what we're here to do. Educate you, elevate you on mindset, power, discipline, structure. Never hesitate to be successful in what you do every day. Failure is not an option. Let's get into this.
Let's go.
Chris, how has it been, my bro?
My week has been good. Just been in the barbershop cutting up. Been going to the gym every day. Taking care of the family. Just trying to do my best out here. Trying to be my best. And yeah, just keeping just thinking positive every day, man, and trying to keep pushing. As I told you earlier, right now I'm going on 34 hours fasting right now. So
yeah,
first time trying it. I listened to a podcast earlier this week where they were talking about the benefits of fasting and what it could do for you. And so me personally, I'll be honest on here, I've been working out. I feel like I've been putting on pretty good muscle, but one of the hardest things for me to do is burn fat, burn that belly fat. So I'm just,
you know what? We've been working out a lot, and I'm glad I got you on the core workouts because you were not doing those before I came in there.
Workouts. No, I was just straight up just lifting and just avoiding doing core, but I would still do cardio, which is crazy, but I just hated the idea of getting down on the ground and doing cardio or doing core.
But see, then I showed you that nice little bench that makes it a lot easier.
Yep, you did. And so now my core feels a lot tighter, but like I said, I still have I feel like I'm just, and I know
stubborn. It's stubborn weight.
I know results don't come overnight, but man, I just feel like I gotta get a little bit more intense because I am 31. I am a little older, so I need to go to the doctor and I need to get physicals, work, all that. But there's probably I probably have things going on inside of me that I don't know that could be affecting.
Could be genetics.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm doing fasting for weight loss, for rapid weight loss, and then apparently the body tends to heal itself. It kind of it can prevent certain cancers like Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
There's a lot of studies and research on this already. So this is why I'm doing it. Last night when I was about 24 hours in, I was going through it mentally. Really, I had the biggest headache. I thought about popping an Advil, but I did not. And I just drank hella water and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to bed. And I woke up this morning and I felt really good, full of energy, and just got myself a cold brew black coffee. They said that will not break the fast.
There you go.
So
that's the way to go.
That's where I'm at right now.
I'm drinking my this is sponsored by Redcon. Drinking my Redcon. Good caffeine. Maybe Redcon will sponsor us one of these days, as much stuff as I do for them. But anyway, look, guys, we're here again. We never hesitate on teaching you what we're learning and living ourselves. And so whatever we're telling you or what we're trying to teach y'all, we're living what we're preaching.
Yep. And
so myself and Chris are really dedicating ourselves to bettering not only us, but so we can better you. As Chris said, and we're gonna have to staple this eventually. You need to serve yourself so you can serve others.
Yeah, that came off the dome too.
Yeah, I will make sure we'll get that. That will be eventually somewhere in the books for the kids to learn that Christopher Gloria said that famous quote. But look, guys, I guess we're getting some great quotes here because even I didn't realize that what I said last week spoke volumes, that temptations may not seem like temptations because you're so used to doing them. But we're not going to give all the secrets away right now. Look, guys, we're very excited today because we have two special guests, and they are from a great podcast called All You. You can find it on Apple, Spotify. They have a book coming out eventually and a TV series. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe one day.
Look, guys, we want to introduce to y'all. Now I'm going to call y'all friends, Avery and Emma from the All You podcast.
What is up, guys? I'm so excited to be here. I was already pumped up, and then I heard y'all's intro coming in, and I was like, okay, I'm ready. I was so excited.
No, I feel the same way. I'm Emma. I drove 3 hours to come here.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, we do.
24-hour trip. I'm like here and back, and I was excited to do it. So
That's
ready to
awesome.
get after
Well,
it.
we're really thankful that you made that drive because, you know, like you said, I mean, that's a long way to come for a podcast.
It is.
So I just want to let you know I'm thankful. Thank you.
We're just glad to be here. I was
Thank
so
you.
excited. I'm
Yeah.
just
Thank you
Yeah.
guys. You're the ones with like the space and all the cameras and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So
we appreciate it.
we're excited.
So look, guys. We real quick before I let them tell you about them. I met Avery at Jupiter House here in Denton, and it was kind of a funny little story. Myself and Miguel Romo, as y'all know from Keep It 100, we're talking about the studio and about podcasting, and I could tell Avery was interested in something. I couldn't tell what. I'm like, I told Miguel, I'm like, bro,
I'm not sly.
she's stirring over there. Something's going on. Yeah, you were. I could tell, and I could see you texting. He kept looking, and
I was only 2 seats away, so
so she eventually came over and was like, "I'm talking about podcasts," and anyway, it went from there, and now here they are.
here we
And
are.
so, Avery and Emma, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you met, and a little info about the podcast, and we'll get into the meat and potatoes.
Sure. Yeah. So Avery and I actually met on like a whim. I'm 3.5 years older than Avery. So I was going alum in my sorority and she was coming in. And so I just happened to come by, drop some things off, and I saw Avery. And it's not common that you see many other females that are active and fit. I saw Avery and I was like, I have to introduce myself to this girl. And so I was like, hi, I'm Emma. She's like, hi, I'm Avery. Met for like 5 minutes and I left. Then it comes out that my roommate was like, Emma, have you met Avery? And we have the same last name.
Mhm.
And I was like, no, I haven't. And so what happened is I just contacted her. We decided to work out together. And that's just what I remember. We like hung out ever since that.
Yeah, we had a really, really good workout and just hit it off right away, conversation back and forth. And you know, when you meet those people and you just, you know, you feel like you already know them, you
Mhm.
can't like let that go. And then we just hit it off and kept hanging out, and here we are.
Yeah, I was
Super
about to say, even more so, it's one of those, I'm very picky with who I work out with, especially when it's other women because it's not common.
I'm glad I made the cut.
Yeah.
I'm glad I made the cut in the cut.
So we started working out and I was like, I actually feel comfortable working out with Avery. Like she pushes me. And from there, I'm like, okay, I can work out with her. We're good. We're going to be good friends.
That's honestly kind of like what me and Chris do. We push each other quite a bit in the gym.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't each other. We don't each other slack on each other. So y'all have a podcast called All You.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
It's a mindset and fitness podcast. We just started it recently, so we got it up and running. We have a few episodes out. We've done some interviews already, which has been really, really cool. But we've both you started listening to podcasts before me, Emma.
Yeah, like 4 years ago. I've been
Cool.
listening to them for a while.
That's awesome.
And I got into it recently, probably a year or two ago. And then we started talking about podcasts and started recommending podcasts to each other. And then I don't know who brought it up, but we were just like, hey,
Yeah.
what if we have a podcast?
Well, a couple of my friends, actually, one that we interviewed, he was like, you guys are young and have a lot of information that I think our generation needs to hear. Y'all should just make a podcast. And being a teacher, I'm used to talking. I'm like, that would be a great idea. And even Avery's like, I love talking about fitness. So we just did it for fun, started out doing it. And one of our friends like became a fan right off the bat. My fiance started listening, my siblings, and then other people. And we never really had like a goal at the beginning just to do it for fun.
Just
But the
for
more
fun.
people said, hey, we really appreciate what you're talking about, it kind of pushed us to do it more. And it's a good like thing to do when I'm teaching. It takes my mind off of math and stuff like that. And I get to
Yep.
be creative again.
Little
It's-
feedback like that really, really helps if
Mhm.
you're starting something new, like family, friends, just a little boost of, hey, you're heading in the right direction. You sound good. You're doing well. That helps a lot.
Yeah.
So, because Emma and I are still figuring out what we're doing. We're learning in the process.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
helps a lot.
How did y'all come up with the name All You?
Emma came up with it.
Yeah.
So I also have worked with fitness companies for younger athletes for like 6 years now. I did it when I was in college. And we were like thinking of names. We kind of wanted it to be short and just something easy. Well, whenever we were in the gym or when I was with athletes, I would say like, hey girl, that's all you, all you. And after a little bit, the athletes started saying it. They're like, oh, that's all you, Jen, or whatever.
Yep.
And after a little bit, I jokingly told Avery, I'm like, you know how we always in the gym say, hey, girl, that's all you. Lift it. Come on, let's go. And she goes, actually, I think that would work. And so we looked up the name. No one had it. It's very short. It looked very clean when you put it onto like a Canva or whatever. And so we kind of went from there.
Yeah, because when you're spotting somebody, like you're there to assist, but it's really up to the other person to get that weight up, to get the rep to go through and all that stuff. And it's the same thing with mindset. Like other people can encourage you and point you in the right direction, but you ultimately need to be the one that's putting in the work and, moving in the direction that you want to go.
Well, even going off of that, I think a lot of like the younger generation, I was telling Avery, I'm very passionate about because I teach them. I think they get like the brunt of the stick. So having kids believe in themselves, like, hey, it's all you. Like people can tell you things, but it is really what your mind thinks. I think that is so important for everyone, but especially the younger generation. I don't think they get it enough.
No, they don't. And that's pretty cool that you're doing that as a teacher. You're one of those teachers that's, putting a positive message to kids. Because you hear I guess
the media is never going to put out good news.
Good news,
Oh, no.
yeah.
And it's always the bad stuff.
So you hear a lot of bad things going on in schools and stuff like that right now. So that's pretty cool. So I guess let's just dive into it.
Yeah, you know what? They're here to help educate as well with us guys. And any of our female listeners, y'all need to be listening up because if you need some extra support and motivation, here are two young women. Big generational gap from myself and Chris. And they're doing it and they're living it. So it's possible no matter what age you are or what you're doing in life.
Totally.
So with generational gap, something that I found interesting when I talked to Avery was that you're 20, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so when you were talking to me and you were kind of even just diving into a few things, that's one thing that stood out to me was that most 20-year-olds, and I know a lot of them, do not think that way. Or do they do things to better themselves? They're more involved in partying, drinking, smoking weed, or whatever else. And their mindset is nowhere near what yours is and what I got off of you. So what I want to kind of head off is how did you, or Emma, Emma seems the same way since I met her now, how did y'all obtain that at such a young age? Because myself and Chris, and I'm not going to lie right now at all. I didn't really start getting deep like this until probably, honestly, maybe less than a year ago. It really kind of hit me and I got into it. At 20, I had no clue. And I wasn't partying or anything, but I was not thinking this way.
Yeah. That's a great question. And I mean, I honestly think it was partially listening to podcasts, and that's kind of what inspired Emma and I to make our own podcast. Was it helped me so much, and I kind of wanted to be that for somebody else or a bigger audience. But I am a bodybuilder, and so I had my first competition last August. And when you're prepping for a bodybuilding competition, it can be very isolating and you can feel really alone at times because it's a very independent sport. It's up to you. You have coaches, but you're the one on stage. You're not with a team most of the time.
It's all you.
Yeah, it's all you. Exactly. And so when I was prepping for it, my family didn't really understand, why I was doing what I was doing. And I started listening to podcasts. There's this guy, Rob Dial. He has a podcast called The Mindset Mentor. I'm obsessed with it. It's so good. And I would listen to his podcast every single day. I would work out, and it really helped me a lot. It really helped me get in a really positive mindset and a good mental space, and really helped me to push through that difficult season. And so podcasts definitely helped me a lot. And also my parents have been huge role models for me. They have a great relationship. They've always encouraged me to try my best and, be positive.
Yeah.
And, just be positive.
Parenting has a lot to do with it. And I mean, I can contest this because I was actually at a relative's birthday party last night. And that was my first time actually being, because parties are where the temptations come quicker.
Yeah.
Especially when you're around family. Because myself and Chris have talked about this. is that when you are around family, they're usually the first ones who don't understand the way you're thinking.
Right.
And they look at you like you're stupid or crazy. And so I kind of got that because when first thing I got there, hey, you want a drink? No, I've been sober now for 3 months. I drink nothing.
Nice.
I drink nothing but water, protein shakes, and
Redcon.
and my Redcon. That is literally it. I drink over 200 ounces of water a day. That's it. And so I kind of got that family. Oh, okay, we'll see. And I'm like, no, I'm literally not drinking. And it does. And I got asked probably 15 times last night if I was going to take a swig or I want a shot. No, I'm watching y'all out there falling on your butts. Hitting this one dude hit the brick wall. He had drank so much he fell down and hit the brick wall. He didn't bust his head open, but I'm like, why what is that life? Is that what we live for? And so watching them do that, I'm like, man, there's so much more. Being on the other side of it, when you start looking, you get in this mindset and you're looking at other people, it's like, do y'all even realize you're just wasting yourself away? Like there's so much more to life. We can enjoy a party without drinking. We can enjoy a party without smoking. We don't have to sit here and just talk about politics.
I think whenever you tell somebody that and they're still drinking, it's hard for them to accept that. And so whenever you, I guess, go a month without doing anything, you know what it feels like to wake up every day sober minded and just you feel good in the morning and you're ready to go for your workout.
Yep.
So you probably come off as crazy.
There was a couple of guys there, and we were talking about working out, and bro, I kind of walk out of the room because I start getting aggravated because I'm one of the people like I'm not trying to push something on you, but I like to educate you because I know what I'm talking about.
Well,
and this one dude's like, oh, I'm already 36. I don't mind having a belly. I'm a dad. I don't have to. I'm like, bro, like, but you can.
That's half your life. You want to waste the rest of your life?
Yeah.
People don't want to change, and when they see you thriving and doing well, it makes them think about their own actions.
It does. And one thing I have came back to is that some people just don't want to change.
Yep.
Yeah.
They are happy. I guess I wouldn't say happy. They are content where they are at. And no matter what you say or you do, they're just not going to listen to you.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's the hard truth.
Well, you got to know too. I mean, I guess if somebody asks me about, what it is that I'm doing, I'll talk to them about it. But I try to be like, I know that not everybody is like into what I'm doing. So I think to protect myself from that awkward conversation, I just won't say nothing.
Yeah, I think.
And I'm just one of those people that I do like to talk. Like I said, if you ask me about it, I'll tell you about it.
Yep.
But if nobody asks me about it, I'll just stay quiet, man, and let people be. And kind of like how we talked about last time, you got to let people do their own thing.
Yeah, you do.
You're gonna have two types of people in this world, and unfortunately, that's how it is. Not everyone is gonna get the message.
I think the best thing you can do is just be a good example for other people.
Yes.
When people see you, living a different lifestyle, or they see you changing, they want to learn more, and they're more likely to ask you questions and stuff. It's really hard to find a balance between being an example for somebody and giving advice in a gentle way, because people get their feelings hurt very easily.
People don't take advice.
Myself included.
Yeah, people don't really take advice any good way.
Yeah.
They always usually get butthurt about it somehow.
What's funny?
Yeah.
I'm almost the opposite. I have used to be very soft with people, but I was going to be a physical therapist, so making money, and went to be a teacher. And the amount of people who looked at me and said, "Emma, are you sure that's what you want to do?" Like very downplaying it. By the way, thank you so much. I got a lot of money off of those people because in my scholarship papers, people felt bad for me. And they gave me tons of money because they're like, oh, you want to be a teacher? Here's money. So thank you, by the way.
Yeah.
But I'm very more pushy about it because when people ask me, oh, you want to be a teacher? My mind inside is like, well, someone's got to do it. And it's not you. That sounds really harsh.
Yeah.
But so many people look at high school teachers and coaches and think, why would you want to do that for not very much money?
Yeah.
I'm very blessed. I get enough money that I need. I also love it because going off of the fitness thing, athletes will look at you and they can tell in a coach if they are living the dream out.
Yes.
Because I've been with coaches who Me and Avery were talking about this. As a basketball player, they'd go, okay, get on the line. We're going to run it down and back. And you'd go, my coach can't even do that. Why is he asking me to do that?
Yeah.
And like moving schools, I am very blessed with the staff I have that we all live it out. We all work out. My head coach gets up at 5 a.m. to get things ready for practice, and she is fit as hell. Like she gets it done. Very blessed to have that. And it just makes me resilient of athletes, and the younger generation is going to want to do what you want to do if you live it out. You should not fake what you're doing.
No, we shouldn't. And honestly, I'm glad this is about, we're talking about generational gap here. And honestly, if we do not, and I talked to somebody, a family member, or well, not a family member, somebody I don't even know, it's party last night. We talked a lot about this stuff, and she was actually digging into what I was talking about because she works at the cafeteria at an intermediate school. And we were talking about her daughter gets bullied quite a bit because she dresses gothic, I guess you call it, but she's not gothic because they call her cutter and everything else. And so what I came to her is, for one, bullies are bullies because, for one, they're not secure in themselves. Mm-hmm. For two, you have something they don't, and they want it, and they don't know how to obtain it. And so they push stuff on you because they feel bad about their own self. But why, and I didn't go through this in school, but why do kids nowadays, why is it easier to sit there and bully kids to a point to where she was talking about some of them committing suicide last year because they got bullied so much? And one thing, and I have her here. This is one of the problems.
I was going to say social media.
Yeah. The 90s, we did not have this. When I was in school, we did not have this. You had a home phone, and that was it. And so bullying, if you had any, was at school. And after that, you didn't hear anybody till the next day. But now this thing right here, and it has goods and bads, but it has a lot more bads. Kids just get on social media and just destroy other kids.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I blame a lot of it on parents. Yeah. Parenting is the downfall. The downfall of parenting has went downhill. I don't know why. I'm trying to raise my kids up to be the generation that I lived in when I was a kid. If we could all bring that generation back from what we're going to kids now, we might have a chance, the next generational gap, to bring back a decent group of individuals.
Yeah.
Because there's not very many of us around.
There's just so much more to compare yourself to nowadays with social media. There's always somebody or something else to look at. And I think that's a problem. It can be a good thing because you can look to somebody else as inspiration instead of comparing yourself to somebody else. So I think looking up to somebody can be helpful, but as soon as you catch yourself like wanting to be that person or comparing yourself to them or putting yourself down, that's definitely where it's an issue.
Well, even with that, so in my class, like after every 45 minutes, I ask the kids a question, and it comes from like a stack of cards. And one of them was, what is a question? Or no, they said, what is something you don't think your parents will ever understand? Was the question. And a lot of them said social media. And I was like, what do you mean? And they said, I don't think my parents understand that the status on social media is how people look at me now. Where what you have on Instagram.
It's very true.
Like even my friend, Brooke, hi, hello, she's my best friend. She even said in the dating realm, guys will look for a profile of her and she doesn't have one. As a nurse, she's like, there's no point in me having one. If they don't find a profile of her, they won't even reach out. And I'm like, so you're telling me they're looking at an online presence of you versus you as an actual person? And that is like, me and Avery were talking about that. Like, we kind of get a glimpse, but we will never understand a presence on social media at the age of 10.
No, that's not okay.
No, it's not. And honestly, that's something else we were talking about too, and that's why I'm bringing a lot of stuff, because it's still in my mind, is like, and with the generation gap with us too. And I know you're engaged. I'm assuming you're single.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So for one, and we've talked about this quite a bit, the men of this generation, I don't consider men. They have lost their respect, not only for themselves, but for women. They do not have their own goals set and priorities set to where as a man, if you have priorities set already and you're achieving your goals, once you find that woman to talk to, she can sense that off of you. If all you're doing is sitting at home, playing video games, eating Cheetos, and you go to a restaurant and that's all you talk about, and you have no just self-respect and discipline and structure in your life, what makes you think a woman's going to want to put your time into yourself and like into you in dating? There's no chance.
The old-fashioned way of dating is just not as popular anymore. I would definitely consider myself still old fashioned in what I
agree.
like.
You are. Yes.
Yeah. And you are too, Emma.
You actually want to see the person versus texting back and forth or social media.
Telephone. I'm not dating an iPhone. Yeah, no.
for sure, yeah.
So,
Well, even going off of that too is like the person you are is most likely the person you're going to date very similarly. And we're both very independent women.
very.
Like when I first started dating my fiance, I was so independent. I was like, nope, I can carry my own bag. Nope, I can open my own door. Like because for the longest time, the men that did do that for me proved me wrong. They just faked it the whole time.
Yeah.
And so it took about 2 years and I finally let him do that stuff for me because he's like, I want to do that for you. And talking about the whole men aspect of someone who's very individualistic, he's like, okay, you want your gym time to yourself? Awesome. Okay, you have time to yourself before your game? Awesome. When we come together in person, it's so much more special because he respects me and my time.
I think that's how it should be. I think a healthy relationship should be two independent people that come together and make each other better and grow together, not two people that depend on each other and can't function without the other person there. So I think that's healthy.
And I think in this generation, again, my high schoolers have openly told me they feel like they have to depend on other person, that when they break up, it's like a disaster. I'm like, do you not know that you by yourself are a worthy person? You do not need someone to they want to compliment you, but they should make you better.
That's a perfect word.
If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, they're slacking for sure on all this. I mean, this is stuff me and Chris talk about all the time, especially in the men aspect. But I'm trying to get the woman aspect because it's nice to get feedback on how y'all see it too.
Yeah.
I mean, because not all guys think like myself and Chris, and I can walk out on the square right now, and I guarantee you, everyone I pick does not think the way we think. And I was sitting with Emily the other day at Cane's, watching these guys eat, and what they were talking about. Literally, I heard one guy literally say Zelda was his dream girl. And Chris, I almost stood up and got full rage and been like, guys, like gaming's fine, but if you spending that much time that your dream girl is a virtual reality aspect.
That's crazy, man. I've never heard
I'm trying to keep together right now. I'm trying so hard.
My whole mindset was like, if I heard that, then like, I don't care how hot you are, I'm turning around.
Yeah. I mean, that's what my wife, Emily's like, I would never have even looked your way if I heard you say something like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing with social media. Most of the time, people are just posting what they want you to see.
Yes.
And so
we've talked about that before.
Some people, I guess, don't think that personality is also important. You know, your values, your morals, how you live your life. It's not just looks to girls, at least women.
Or when you guys were talking earlier when we met, just having like a FaceTime, and you guys were talking about how you were talking about like manlyhood and all that stuff and how blunt y'all were. I loved how blunt y'all were about we need to have this. Yeah. We need to make sure we're standing up for this. I think a lot of people are riding the surface of I have an opinion, but I don't want to say it.
People
I don't want to hurt your
sugarcoat.
feelings. And we were saying how sometimes the closest of friends are the ones that are the most real with you. The moment someone starts sugarcoating something to me, I was like, do you really care about me?
I think people that are honest with you and want you to grow are the ones that actually care about you. If somebody sees you, you know, kind of slacking off and they don't say anything, like if you care about me, you should want me to grow and get better, you know?
And I think that's why the younger kids, I don't blame them. Like you said, I always give the full responsibility to the parents. They don't know any better.
They don't.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of they're sugarcoating things. I'm like, it's a parent's job to teach them, okay, you have certain opinions. It is okay to share those sometimes.
But yes, and then it gets to a point where, you know, people were raised like that. Like me, I was raised horrible. Like I grew up really messed up. And so it got to a point where I had to, you know, I grew up to be a young man, and then I had to make a choice for myself. So it gets down to the point where, you know, for any of y'all who are listening, if you have bad habits, if you're not living the life you truly want to live right now, you have to make a change for yourself, right? So, and then sometimes you may have to educate your parents. You know, like that's kind of what
I think something that really helps with that is not making a bad habit or a bad trait your identity, because as soon as you say I'm lazy, you make excuses for yourself. It's so much easier to be lazy if you make that who you are instead of saying, oh, today I was lazy when I did this, but I'm not a lazy person.
Yes.
Don't make something your identity.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is that people don't even have the ability to think like that. They don't have people don't,
And they don't want to.
They don't want to like
That's
talk
true.
themselves up. Everyone is just so in this, like I said in my video, they're just in this pool of negativity that they just don't even think to
yes.
think positive anymore.
Yeah.
It's
at
a
all.
comfortable state of negativity that they live in. That's what I got off this guy last night when I was talking to him about trying to just go out for a walk. He said, oh, I love just eat. I just pizza. I'm already lazy. I drive a truck. I really can't get any kind of fit driving a truck. And I literally, that's what I'm saying. Like,
What?
you're already in that state of mind where you're telling yourself,
Lazy.
just because you're a truck driver, listen, folks, just because you're a truck driver does not mean you cannot be a jacked up mofo. And I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's just it.
I'll say this: I was cutting up one of my clients here, and I like him a lot. He's a great client of mine. Just in case he's listening, but he asked me how old I was, and I said I'm 31, and he was like, "It's all downhill from here."
What?
I hate.
I'd have been like, this cut is over.
Yeah, well, cut was over.
Okay.
We were just talking.
I do hate that saying though. I hate when people do that.
We were talking like right after the cut, and I was like, "What do you mean?" And he
Yeah,
was
what do
like,
you
"Well,"
say to
he was like, "You're 30, man. You just start declining." And then I was like, I didn't say anything to him. You know, I let him have his way. But in my mind, in the moment when he said that, I was like, "No effing way. There's no way." I was like, I'm 31.
Well,
I'm still,
right now.
You know, Chris, okay, so both of you, my parents, I hope they're listening. They are in such good shape that some of my friends think my mom is my sister.
wow.
And my dad was like, he did wrestling and bodybuilding. He is 55, looks great. They are living their dream. Okay.
Good.
So it is not
And-
downhill.
It's possible.
And I know that. And I know that it's not, it doesn't have to be that way, which is why I choose to live a healthy lifestyle now that I'm younger. So later when I'm older, I can be active and be that great father that I need to be for my kids. And
I
that
plan
great
on
husband for my
I plan
wife.
on being a jacked up grandpa.
For sure.
Legitly just
My grandpa?
70 years old, just ripped. Just go ahead and tell those kids to come here. I'll tell them what's happening right
I have
now.
my little brothers. For the longest, they would always tell me, "You're getting old, man." I'm like, "Bro, I promise
Your
you."
little
I'm
brothers.
moving more than you.
So I have a 17 and an 18-year-old brother, and they would always tell me, what would they tell me? They would say, "You're getting washed up, bro." You know, I forget exactly what, but they would tell
I know
me
what
that
you're
getting
saying.
old.
Yep.
I told them, I was like, "Bro, when you are in your 30s and I'm in my 40s, 50s, I'm still gonna be able to outrun you. I'm still gonna be able to do everything better than you." And it's all jokes, right? But yeah, I do not let anyone get in my head and tell me that it's all downhill.
But that's what we're back into, is that the people that are out there, there's so many people who just get comfortable in that thinking and it's also a generational curse is what I like to call it. It's where before them, and this guy goes to fitness or jobs, or I mean, when I first started my business, okay, my family is the one who downfalled me the most about it. Well, that's good, but don't quit your bread and butter job.
That's something I
What?
really struggle with, is how do you take your family's opinions lightly? Because you want to respect your family,
Yes.
but you also don't want to let them get in your head, because your family and your close friends are some of the only people, or like some of the closest people to you, that you actually care about their opinion and want them to believe in you. And they're the first people that you said that talk you down and talk you out of it. How do you kind of like?
So I let it fuel me.
Okay.
So
okay.
it fueled my passion to I'm going to use the word prove them wrong
Okay.
in the nicest way possible. And that's what I did. I started lawn and landscape part-time. I grew up doing it. I was working for the city. And so I would get up at 6 a.m, go to work, get off work, go part-time mowing yards. And eventually I had so many clientele coming in that the part-time business was making more money than my full-time business.
That's the goal.
And so what I did is I prayed about it, talked to the wife about it. We took a leap of faith, as we like to call it. And I went full-time into it. Went and get my 2 weeks, started the company, haven't looked back, been doing it 3 years now. And so that was my point, to like show my family, I know what you said, but I'm showing you. And it's a generational thing, because before them was done the same way. Their parents, it's a 9-to-5 construction warehouse job. And it's just from that generation. They're what small businesses were harder to open up in the 40s, 50s. Depressions were going on. Now, this is a generation of you can start whatever business you want and thrive. They didn't have it. So they're just going off what their parents taught them, their parents taught them. And so if no one breaks that generational curse, it keeps going generation to generation. You have to be the first one to break something. I don't care if it's a job, being physically fit, going to college. If you break it, at that point, you build a new generational line for the kids, your kids and their kids to keep going on.
I feel that with teaching too.
Yep.
And I feel like we are living in a time where, like we said earlier, social media puts out a lot of negativity, but I know a lot of people who are going into business for themselves now and just starting to take have more accountability for themselves, and so there's a lot of good going on around here.
Bro,
We just have to focus on
and
that and put that out
it takes
there.
us
Yeah.
to help push this. And guys, y'all need to get ready for one thing, because I'll tell you right now, myself and Chris have some stuff coming out.
Yeah,
and y'all better get ready, because I think y'all are going to be hype about it.
Yeah.
So
I'm
sorry.
already hyped just hearing you talk about it.
Slam on the table.
Hey, I'm sorry, I get passionate. But no, it's honestly, and we really haven't got off topic, people. If y'all aren't listening, we haven't got off topic. We're just going into different sections of the branch of the tree.
Organized off topic.
Yes. Generational gap is a big thing. Generational curses are a big thing. And if we don't stand in the way and reroute the line, we're not doing any better than the last generation before us.
Yeah.
That's when being resilient is huge. I think that's also when I have my job, when people ask me, I do not shy away to the answer. They're like, well, your days are long. Are you sure you have time to work out? Yes, I do.
You have to make time.
Yes. And having that change of, just because I'm a teacher, does that mean I have to work 9 to 5, go home, grade, Like, I have my priorities straight. And my students know that. Like, you're my priority, but I got to take care of myself so I can take care of you. And again, I love doing it. So many people just assume, oh, high school teacher, you're just doing it because it's easy. Heck no, it is not easy, but I love doing it.
I'm so glad you've said that, because that's one of my biggest pet peeves, guys, is when people say they don't have time for something. Like, if we all have the same 24 hours in a day, if I or Emma can make time to work out, why don't you? We all have the same 24 hours. It all comes down to choices and priorities.
And stop making excuses.
Stop making excuses.
And we're like, we all do similar things. I'm engaged. You're single in college. You both have families, and yet you make time.
Yeah.
We're at the gym at 4:30, 4:45 every morning. We get done. We go home. We take care of our families. I get the kids to help wife get the kids to school. I go to work, come home. It's very possible. It's very possible. What it is we've got to get as a community, as individuals, as a world, we've got to get rid of these excuses and letting the presence of what the world calls normal. That's another problem. Social media makes things normal. Just going home and sitting on the couch and binge watching shows is normal. Going out and eating fast food and processed food that's not good for you is normal. Drinking is highly influenced because what does social media and everything pushes? What does all these commercials? Go out, have a good time. That's the only time. That's the only way you can have a good time. Smoking weed is becoming more normal because it's becoming legalized. So at that point, the world itself again, it's gonna get me aggravated. We are pushing the wrong image to the generation that's coming up below us. And all we're doing, and honestly, what some of the politicians is they want to do that because it's just going to keep corrupting the world until we have nothing to go off of, except for the handful of us that have this mindset. And then we have to work our butts off, try and teach multitudes of people how to live their lives.
I wanted to give encouragement to you guys as dads. My dad was the same person who woke up at 4:30 in the morning to work out, go to work so he could get home at 4 o'clock to spend time with us. That is something I appreciated. And at 20, almost 25, highly appreciate it. And I know your kids are going to appreciate it. Like, keep doing that.
We appreciate it.
I'll say this. Before I started waking up early, I was kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
I would just get it in when I could. But honestly, I was probably lazy in the mornings and I would not wake up because I just felt like I needed my morning time to eat and just get mentally prepared for work. And then I would go at night and then I would leave the house. And, I would leave my kids at home and they would be like, where are you going, Dad? My son. And I'm like, I'm going to the gym. And, it came to a point where it became an issue. it became an issue, and I was taking time away. You know, I wasn't spending time with them; they weren't spending time with me. So once Carl and I got together, and we talked about working out in the morning, it really helped me out. And my wife, she's like really happy that I work out in the morning. Like,
Yes.
she's like really happy with me that I work out in the morning. And
It's because we're prioritizing our time better.
And that's your why, right? To spend time with your kids.
Yes, because
know why.
because that's the
Yeah.
only way they're going to grow right is for us to be in their lives and present. This one over here, he'll be 10 November. He already wants to go to the gym with me. I just can't take him.
That's fantastic.
But he went on a run with me yesterday. He went on. Every Saturday I do runs, and then I come home and do like CrossFit type workout. He's out there doing it with me.
I think
that is good parenting.
I think that's a big thing. If somebody is not putting in effort to do something, their why just isn't big enough.
Yeah.
Like your why is to make time to spend time with your kids. People that don't want to wake up early to go to the gym, they just don't have a reason that's strong enough for them to go. I heard this on another podcast. I think it was Rob Dial, the mindset mentor, but I think he mentioned how if you had to make $1 million in a year, that's impossible. Most people would think, oh, I can't do that. But if your why is, oh, I need to make $1 million in a year, or somebody I know is going to pass away or die, then it's like, oh, I have to make $1 million. Like that's your why. So people just need to find their why and let that get them going.
yeah,
No, it's true. I mean, honestly, people just wake up and really think about how old are you, and really how much time have you wasted?
yeah,
How much free time have you wasted doing something that's not benefiting you? It's not growing you. It's not making you any money. And then you start looking at it and be like, shoot, I've wasted 10 years, 15 years, and I haven't got anywhere. And I'm contesting to this, people, because I have done this. I have not drank in 3 months. We've been working out now steady for 6 weeks. I've already seen results, people. 6 weeks. Wait till Christmas. That's our goal. Christmas, we're gonna be stacked.
hopefully.
Hopefully, I'm gonna push us till we get there. Within a year time, though, that's what I'm saying. It's baby steps. And I had some people reach out to me this week. And I talked to Chris about this off some of my videos off Snapchat. Hey, bro, how are you doing that? I can't even get motivated to get up. How are you getting motivated to work out and do all this? And I had to break down stuff to him. But one thing, he's like, man, well, I can't see results like that. I said, bro, for one thing, it's all everybody's different. Every body type is different. We all have different genetics. I look at it as a conveyor belt in a warehouse. Everything does something for a reason. You have to have the product come off the line. The next machine has to box it. One machine has to wrap it. Another machine has to put it in the truck. Then it gets shipped. Then it gets dispersed. So when you're working out, some people are going to have a conveyor belt that runs quicker, and some are going to have a conveyor belt that runs slower. But if you keep the process and the production up, you will see progress. But you just
don't want to be beginners. Like
No.
You have to allow yourself to be a beginner and not be good at something right away.
Yeah.
'Cause-
I feel like those are the best times, though.
Yeah.
Because then once you make progress and you look back at where you were at, it just feels good,
It does.
Real quick,
We're good.
I did want to say, well, kind of going back on the waking up early thing, I did want to say, because I wake up early now, I get home at a really good time, and my kids are still asleep.
Yep.
And so I'll make them breakfast, and I'll make my wife breakfast, and I'll make me and my wife coffees, and then I'll just go in the room and I'll wake them up, and they wake up to a good breakfast. My wife wakes up to her breakfast, whatever. Actually, I put water out for them first, and then I'll tell my wife to have some coffee. But for any of the fathers that are listening out there, if you wake up early, man, you can get your day started early, and make sure that your kids and your wife are happy. And then, but I did want to say this real quick, y'all. I have to go.
Yes,
I have a barber education class that I'm going to right now.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up.
Fort Worth. So I'll be talking about that class next Sunday when I come back on, and I'll be posting on social media about the class and stuff like that. So Avery and Emma. On my end, I have to go. I'm so sorry to leave the podcast.
Oh, you're good, man.
You're doing stuff to better yourself and to grow.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
But it was good to meet y'all and good to talk to y'all. But I'm gonna let Carl finish it off.
Yeah, we'll get it, bro.
And to everyone, thank y'all for listening. I'll be back next week.
Yes.
Good to see you, Chris. Good to
Good
see
to
you.
see y'all.
Bye.
We're gonna let Chris get out of here, man. I'll talk to you later. I'll see you in the morning. We'll hit those arms. Oh, Chris, don't forget your phone, bro. You're going. Okay, never mind. Sorry, guys. Y'all gonna hear a bunch of randomness, but it's okay. Yeah, don't forget your phone and your coffee. You sure? Okay, I'll put it in my bag. I'll try to bring it in the morning, bro. Y'all, Chris is out. Big guys, he's gone. And we're gonna finish this up with Emma and Avery. Look.
Sorry, I had to laugh for a second.
Did you say
I think you
Emma?
said my name.
I think I did. I probably missed Emma and Avery. Sometimes my words will slip my mouth and I'll say something
Completely
random.
understandable.
But Emma and Avery. Look, so long story short, y'all, we're trying to break generational gap, generational curses. We're trying to build a community of stronger individuals who are resilient to negativity and false teachings, and who have a stronger mindset to increase power, discipline, structure. And as women, I just wanted y'all to emphasize real quick, if any of our women listeners or anybody who listens to this as a woman, what would you say to a younger generation coming up that would help them build their mindset and personality, personal growth as y'all have done, but in a younger format? If they're just now coming, let's say coming out of high school, getting ready to go into college or ready into adulthood, what's some advice y'all would give them?
I would say that no one's going to tell you to do it. Like, no one's going to look at you and say, hey, you need to take care of yourself. Hey, you need to work out. Hey, da-da-da-da. I push it. I mean, I'm a coach for a reason of women's sports. I have seen the mentality of women much better when they take care of themselves, when they work out. Some people are afraid they're going to look like a man. You're not. You are taking care of yourself. I mean, look at Avery. She looks great.
That's you, girl. That's you.
So, like, how it helps you mentally. Again, I work with high schoolers a lot, and depression is rising, and I love y'all too much for you to feel that. Working out is a good way to clear your headspace. Also, it's a discipline thing. You're not going to feel like it all the time. You need to find people like this who hold you accountable to do things. That is, like, sometimes I don't want to do it, and my fiance, family is the same thing. They motivate me to do it, and it's like no one's going to tell you to do it.
You got to have that good teammate, team partner.
Yes.
It's in the same thought process as you.
Yeah, I agree with Emma. I think having an accountability partner is really, really important, especially in high school and college. Who you surround yourself with is so, so important. You need to have, even if it's a small circle, a few friends that you're really close to and friends that can be honest with you and be vulnerable and just tell you how it is, not sugarcoat things, I think is so much more valuable than having a bunch of friends that aren't really adding much to your life. You know, like it's just comfortable.
Putting more positive into you than negative.
Yeah, and just taking it day by day. I think a lot of high school students and college students try to put so much on their plate, or they realize they want to change something about themselves or grow, and they just want to be completely different the second they realize they need to change something. Like, allow yourself to take it day by day, take little steps. As long as you're moving a little bit in the right direction each day, like that's all that matters. As long as you made some progress, but don't expect yourself to be perfect or to put all these things on your plate at the same time and be able to handle it, because that's just not reasonable.
And like talking about that too, if you're thinking, because I was a little bit like this, so was Avery. If you're like, there's no friends like me, is not being afraid to be resilient and be yourself, because then people notice. And don't be afraid to go like ask someone. Like, honestly, reaching out to Avery was definitely a bit nerve-wracking. I'm like, I talked to you for 1 minute and now I'm texting you.
Yeah.
Just being resilient with who you are, being that friend that you want to be, and pushing yourself to do that. It's scary, but like now we're like best friends, and it's only been almost a year. So
It's all it really takes.
yeah.
I honestly have enjoyed having y'all on.
We love you. I had so much fun.
And we will definitely, I know Chris can test, we will definitely bring y'all back on. We're gonna keep in contact, because I told Chris a few weeks ago, I honestly feel like we probably could team up on a lot of things and help build different communities and stuff, because it's good to have the woman and the man aspect of it. And if you combine everything, you can go a lot further, because now that people are seeing a whole group of different sex and different individuals coming together.
And the age gap too.
Yes.
20, 24,
Yes.
31,
Yes. And so, y'all just stay with us. Me and Chris have some things coming up, and we are going to need a female program put into place. So,
lucky for you.
yes.
Yeah, thank y'all. Like, it was so funny when she texted me. She's like, I don't know if I should say something. And I'm like, literally my text was, please do it.
Yeah.
It was so out of the blue and unexpected, but I knew I had to say something because y'all were talking about podcasts and mindset and personal growth. And I'm like, there's no way that these people are sitting next to me right now. I have to say something. And
I'm
then
glad
it
you
just
did.
happened out of nowhere.
I'm glad you did, because now look, we got whole new friendships and communities being built.
Let's go.
So I appreciate y'all coming. But before we go off, I'm gonna let y'all give any shout outs y'all want to give, or any you want to throw your handles out there.
I'll do shout outs quick. I'll shout out my family and my parents. Thank you so much for being great examples to me. Like, I have no complaints whatsoever. You taught me what a great relationship looks like, a great marriage, and also just working out. Obviously, to my fiance, hi Casey, hello, thank you for supporting me too. And then my best friend Brooke, she supports me in all that I do, so I appreciate everything.
Yeah, I mean, I of course want to thank my family too. They've always encouraged me. I think it's so important when you love somebody or care about them. You don't have to agree with them, but like that support or like acceptance still goes a long way. So thank you to my family for just supporting me always, and my close friends. And just listening to podcasts has helped me a lot too. But yeah, we've loved being here. So
where can they find your podcast at?
The All You podcast is available on Spotify and Apple Music. Or not Apple Music, sorry, Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts, yes.
And then social media wise, that is all Avery. Again, being a teacher, I'm like, it's just not necessarily my thing. I am more the tech side.
Yeah, we'll probably put like the handles in the description.
Yes, I'll make sure your handles in there. I know they're working, folks, on a podcast Instagram is what you told me, right?
We're literally a month in. Like, this is just, we've only done it for a month.
Yeah,
so we're
just
learning.
There you go.
Learning a lot. I mean, you guys have a freaking studio and TV and ring lights and stuff, so we're like, we need to step up our game.
You're good. I'm gonna give y'all some tips and stuff when we get done.
Beautiful.
Look, we enjoy y'all. Glad you came on, and I hope our listeners enjoy y'all. I'm sure they will. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up the best I can by myself without Chris. So all I can say is what I always say, and I want you to remember this when I tell you this. Mindset ignites power. Discipline fuels the journey. Structure designs the map. We love y'all. Peace. Mindset equals power.